y'all. Welcome to the Riffs and...
No, I don't like this. I thought I was going to get the countdown and the clap.
Oh, you got the clap? Oh, you got the clap?
It's a round of applause.
We got the clap. We got the clap. Brett's got the clap.
The slow clap.
Hello, everybody, and good morning. I'm Brad McBrocklin, and this is Rhythms.
In Rhythms, I am Paul Robertson. We're starting very early this time, aren't we? So I guess this is day drinking if you're playing at home. So yes. So you're back.
I'm back.
Kevin's not back.
Nope.
So Brad's taken over. He's doing all podcasts in Florida now, everywhere.
Yes, I am the co-host of every podcast ever conceived and born.
You've now are taken over the other popular podcast that we compete against. It's now called the Brock Rogan Show.
Brock Rogan,
yep. So as well too.
Brock and McLaughlin. So yeah. So thanks for joining me again. Like
Brock
I said,
on the Ox.
Brock on the Ox.
Ghost in the Brocks.
We could go on. We
got a show to do here, so let's stop the silliness here. So before we jump in here, definitely we want to recognize that this podcast episode is brought to you by the Trump National Golf Club of Jupiter. Thank you there. And so because he's that excited about this pizza that was in this box that we got here, brought to us here from the fine folks at the Trump National Golf Club. So. If you want to formally be a sponsor, that'd be cool. But again, we're just going to do some stolen valor. So
I learned today that the cool kids call it Trump Jupiter.
Trump Jupiter.
Yep. Okay. There's no national. There's no golf club. There's just
because he's got
people
a place
in the know. They call it Trump Jupiter.
Yeah, because he's got a place that's down in West Palm, the other golf course that's by the jail, right? Or by the strip club too. Nobody talks about that. So anybody, we going to throw back memories? Anybody remember the name of that place? I think it's still there.
The landing strip?
No, Tees.
Oh, Tees.
Yes, yeah. So
I think the landing strip has been bulldozed to the ground.
Yeah, with the mermaid. And we had a conversation about the mermaid the other night, too.
Is the mermaid still there?
No, I think that the road winding on Southern took that out. So,
wow.
Yeah, landing strip was on military. So, geez, well, how do we know all this stuff?
I don't know. I read it in
We've just been around a long time. Brad's history book of Palm Beach County. Book. So, well, let's go ahead and start this off here. Yes. So let's first welcome our guest back to the podcast here. We've got Fox back on the podcast here.
Fox,
So cheers. Let's start off the show right here. So welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Yeah. So
it's been too long already.
I know, right? So cheers. Here we go. This is going to be a very fun episode.
Tiddies Lounge.
Tiddies Lounge.
And Gun Club.
Yeah. If you check the last episode, apparently Jupiter's getting a Rachel's too.
Oh, we're psyched.
Yeah. Right, US one in Indietown. I called it.
Yeah, you can get a quesadilla explosion there as well.
Well, I'm banned from the first Rachel's. Do you think I'll be co-banned from the other one when it opens?
Okay, you brought it up. You brought it up now twice. Now, what is the story?
I didn't bring it up.
You brought it up last time.
No, I brought up girls getting banned from Chili's.
Oh,
well, that was for a lot of different reasons.
Okay. Well, then why did you get banned from Rachel's?
It really wasn't even that bad.
Oh, it wasn't me. Well, okay, Shaggy.
I was there
You weren't supposed to do that.
Yeah, that's right. Did you touch the dancers?
No, never. No.
Did you have sex in the champagne room?
Oh, never. I would never do such a tawdry act. I was there with a bunch of guys that were friends of mine, and they were putting money in the women's, britches and having a nice time. And my coworker, who we called my uncle, he gave me some money, and he's like, "Oh, have some fun." And this real good-looking guy went by. I was like 22, again, remember. And I put the money in his pants, and I thought he was a bouncer. He was a manager. So he asked me to leave. So I did. Didn't get banned. Everybody else got kicked out with me. And then the next night, one of my friends, who was a lady that also liked ladies, she wanted to go. She was desperate to go. And I'm like, oh, well, I got asked to leave last night. I probably shouldn't go back tonight. And she really wanted to go. I said, all right, we'll go down there and we'll just go have some fun. So we got there, and they're like, you're not allowed to go in without a man. And so we said, okay. And went outside, and she's like, what are you going to do? And I'm like, well, there's a party bus over there. So let's just check it out. And I guess it was a bachelor party, and there was a guy that was like passed out on the bus with the driver. Driver's there. And it's not late. It's like 10:30. And I'm like, well, this guy can't possibly be completely passed out. He must just be taking a...
Oh, you haven't been to Brad's
bachelor
party.
Well, I'm like, he must be taking a disco nap. So she and I are like, hey, you want to go back in? And he's like, yeah. So he gets up, and the driver's just like, really? And we didn't care because we were dumb. So we went back in with this guy, and we were hanging out at the table, and this girl was having a great time. She went and got a bunch of money out of the ATM, and the dancers loved her. I mean, she was having the time of her life. Again, like 22-year-old girl, likes women, having a great time. And the guy that we're with passes out again at the table and is removed. So then they're like, well, you can't still be in here because, there was a guy with you. You can't. And I get it. Like, they don't want women in there just like getting in the way of the women that are working. And so I decided to name drop. I'm like, that guy knows me. He'll let us stay. And it was the manager that kicked me out. So I was banned. Yeah. And they said, never come back. Never.
Wow.
So let me just get this
There's got to be a
straight.
Trump vocal clip that's like, never come back. Never. You can't come back.
That's a pretty good impression.
Yeah, don't come back. You're not welcome here. You were never asked to be here. That's what they said to me, and they're like, "We'll put your face on the wall." And I'm like, okay.
By the way, you guys, that's how we got this pizza because Fox called up the country club and was like, "We need a pizza stat to the tow truck place where the studio is located."
The pizza's going to be huge.
Tremendous
Beautiful,
pizza, unbelievable.
beautiful.
Best
Back,
pizza you've ever
back
had.
to the titties and beer story.
Pick up or delivery.
How on earth why would you get thrown out
If she's
for putting money
yeah,
in his pants?
I tried to raise a civil rights issue right there that this woman was having a wonderful time there, but it was just not their policy. Who knows? It could have changed. That was a long time ago, so it could have changed by now.
No, I think that still exists though. But
I mean, your story specifically,
you're throwing your.
he got
you're-
so
right.
mad that you put money in his
He
shorts?
was very mad. He was a very professional guy. He was not down with that. I thought it was hilarious.
I'm not a piece of meat.
Yeah, he was not about that, and it was a 20, and believe me, my like fake uncle was very angry about me using the 20 that way. So I mean, it was a bad.
Yeah,
it was a lot of learning experiences.
Did
all
your
at
uncle
once.
not teach you proper
He was
strip
not
club
happy about
etiquette?
that. He was not happy about that. But the funny thing is, I learned after that is like as a woman, it's actually not hard to get thrown out and banned from strip clubs. It's actually pretty easy.
Crazy.
Yeah. But if you're a guy, I mean, I think you just mind your P's and Q's, you'd be all right. But we have to really, be careful.
So maybe that's why we didn't bring any women with us on your bachelor party. We didn't get kicked out.
There's a lot of reasons, I think, to not bring women on your bachelor
First
party.
of all, Paul, my bachelor party was on a Monday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we got.
That's the best night.
That's right.
That's so.
That's the in the biz night
God,
at half the
I don't know,
places.
That's right. Well, yeah.
And I didn't even want to go to a strip club. I was like, I just want to be low key. Strip clubs are not my bag. It's I
You
feel
have
like-
to say you don't want to go.
I know.
And your boys have to take you. Otherwise,
And it's-
everyone gets a
Bruh.
foul.
I know.
It's what happened.
Remember,
It's a massive foul.
The bachelor party is not for the groom. Okay, it's for their friends.
Well, that's what I
Right,
found
that's
out.
true.
Because when it was all said and done, I was passed out standing against the urinal in the bathroom, and the bouncer made them retrieve me, and we all left.
Isn't it brutal when you pass out standing up? That's a whole different world.
Yeah, I got
And-
real drunk.
And that's how I got thrown out and banned from the other one, Monroe's.
Funny, that's
Wow.
where I
Like
was.
3 times in like an hour, yeah.
We were the only people in there. I'm
I
sorry.
wasn't.
Why am I yelling?
Yeah,
we were the defending myself. We were it was my bachelor party and one other couple and like 19 strippers. And we ordered a tomahawk steak and a
Nice.
$5,000 bottle of Jameson. I
That should
think.
have bought you at least an hour against the urinal. I mean, God.
Right?
You know?
I think it might have.
Yeah.
I think I was there for a while
But
before
what he-
the old man with the candy dish went out and was
The
like, "You guys got to
candy
get your guy."
dish. Man, you got told
Oh.
on by the candy dish man. That's rough.
That's right.
Yeah. Must not have kept the money flowing at the beginning of the
well,
night.
Yeah, you
usually
should've
Or
put
he
a
was just
20.
genuinely worried about you. Good for
That's
him.
probably more
What a good
so.
guy.
if you're falling asleep at the urinal, and the Candyman guy who's doing the
And the candy.
the guy who sprays the Dracur Noir to spray, on you and say, hey, do you need a little, but when, if you got to hold yourself up like this and knowing Brad,
Two
right,
hands.
he's up on the wall like he's getting arrested with his pants down at his ankles and his ass hanging out because nobody's holding his pants if he's peeing, right?
man.
I think that would unsettle the guy who's got to sit in the bathroom all night and all the things that go on in a bathroom. You know?
Not to mention, I almost had an altercation at the ATM machine because I couldn't remember my PIN.
Oh, that's a rough moment during a blackout.
My night. So I had just had a lap dance with a girl that had been giving me a lap dance all night because I was like, oh, let's just stay consistent. She seems nice.
There's something to be said for
She
consistency.
respects my boundaries.
Yeah,
and
that's
takes
good.
my money.
Well, that's
right. It was good. And
that's a good way to work.
But I opened my wallet to pay her for the last one and didn't have any money left, and so she marched me over to the ATM. And all of a sudden, I couldn't. It kept getting declined. And people were starting to stand around. Meanwhile, there's nothing else going on. So my knight in shining armor, Paul Robertson, comes out of nowhere, and it's like, whoa, what's going on here?
I can picture it more like old school, like Will Ferrell in Old School. Like wait, and it's all slow motion. And
it might have been, but he was like, he doesn't pay for anything. If you need money, you come to us. Blah 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 blah. And I was like, thanks, guys.
He's like at the ATM machine he's like, fuck you, R2D2. I'm going to beat the shit out of give me my money.
R2D2 did become kind of an ass when he became the ATM person.
Yeah.
Which place was this? I'm not going to call it what I usually call strip clubs. I'm not going to do that.
was
I'm not
Monroe's.
quite that crass.
It was Monroe's.
Oh, yeah. How have they been? I'm not allowed back.
That was my first time and my last time there.
Oh,
all right. So what are we doing after the podcast?
Not going there. Although I grew my hair out since then, but I'm really just not in a place in my life where I'm going to risk it. I'm just going to let it happen. They said no. I said okay.
Honestly, by the time we got down there, I was drunk. It was past my bedtime.
On a Monday. That's awesome. That's
Monday.
actually like legendary. Because imagine being those girls that you roll in. It's like, oh, there's a bachelor party here on a Monday. This is awesome.
My wife had a 4-day trip to Miami for her bachelorette party, and I had one night at Monroe's.
This is probably the wrong time to tell you that they have a male review down there.
Oh, no, she was there.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm not breaking any doors open.
No, I was fully aware and up to speed on
what
all
went
the
down.
goings-ons.
Yeah, what a fun night.
It was a fun night.
Big shout out to Derek.
Derek, sweet Derek. He took on more than he should have. My best man.
That's what they're there for.
Yeah,
That's why they
so
get
you
the
have
title.
the favor to repay when he gets married.
Well, the way it's looking, he's we're all going to be geriatrics by the time.
Oh, damn!
Brutal call out, Derek.
Sorry, Derek.
bro.
Sorry, Derek. That's your boy. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Right. Cue the sad music.
that's good. Yeah, that was a rough moment.
That's great.
Oh, yeah, it was rough.
Oh man.
My luck, though, Derek will turn around and be engaged next week, and I'll have to
Pull something together.
Yeah,
it'll have to be at a Duffy's.
Yeah, probably.
Duffy.
We're going to Duffy's.
Where he knows everybody. So big shout out. Those that don't know Derek, who we're talking about is, Derek's one part of the Destruction crew.
Destruction crew at James and Cocktails.
That's right.
Yeah.
So tune in there and check out what Derek looks like. And
Sweet Derek, yeah.
And then just remember, when you see him on camera, you'll hear the music.
Don't accept his proposals because I'll have work to do. Date for a very long time.
All right, so I've got something to throw at you guys here. So let's come back here to something we were talking about just before the start of the show there regarding this conversation around, the music of new versus old. You don't want to hear.
No, we were hating on the industry, which is super fun.
So but you're saying you were talking
specifically like ageism in
specific aspects of the
yes,
industry, which
right.
we could go on all day about like the image wars and favoritism, and that's like something that men deal with too, of a certain age specifically, and then like women, so everyone deals with that, right? Ageism to me is like a huge problem in the music industry because in my opinion now, and I'm not like super young, but I'm not like at this level yet where whatever, I'm really dealing with it, but I feel like when I was 21, don't get me wrong, I've led a very interesting and strange and bizarre life, but I had not really experienced that much. What I have to say now is so much different and so much more interesting. Why do we look to in music these young people that haven't lived when we have these artists that are older that have been through unbelievable, incredible stories that have so much like interesting perspective, wisdom, experience, and just like honestly advice for anyone that's living and experiencing these things? I want to hear what Willie Nelson's talking about. When I see an interview that's like Willie Nelson or Paul McCartney or Ringo Starr or Bonnie Raitt or Lucinda Williams, I stop what I'm doing because I'm like, this is going to be incredible. I mean, they've been through everything. And then when I hear someone like, even like, this is a bad example, but someone from like when you listen to Britney Spears talks, there's a lot going on, but artists of her generation, so they were like these young pop stars that are on the other side of it. Those artists have some really interesting things to say now. But when I hear like some 22-year-old artist talking, I'm sorry. Like, I know you've lived an interesting life because you're famous, but other than that, like you don't have perspective. You don't have that maturity angle. It's just not that interesting. I mean, it's interesting, but it's not as interesting as people that have really lived. I want to hear about what they've experienced.
But you are no longer the target audience.
I disagree because I believe that we are entering a weird phase where like baby boomers are still a huge demographic for music content, and they spend a lot of money with like tribute bands or these older artists that go on tour that play like theaters. So they're not trying to go to festivals. I mean, and I don't blame them. So, but they go to the theaters, and they do go to like the festivals that are more catered to diverse audiences. Gen X is a huge music crowd. Like they are a huge part of the music audience. Millennials are a massive portion. At some point very soon, millennials will, if they're not already,
right.
I mean, I don't know the data, they may already be the biggest portion of the audience for consumable music. Not just streaming, but like buying tickets, because obviously it's hard to make money with streaming, but buying merch and buying tickets and being there in person.
Well, I feel like millennials are the age
they're
now
huge.
where they're
Yeah,
making
they're
the
all
most
over it.
money.
They're
or they have the most disposable income.
Well, they're still brutalized by, but
Well,
like
true.
they're very hardcore. Like my friends, like fellow millennials, that they're like they plan to make sure that they can go to live music. So their choices in their life and what they spend their money on, it revolves around entertainment.
Experience. I've heard, right? It's experiences more than certain things.
Sure.
So,
but Gen Z, like a lot of them, and I know a lot of Gen Z, and they'll go to festivals, but they absolutely get priced out. But also, they are really into streaming. They go to like consumable music experience type of venues and events, but they're just not. I just feel like they're not as big of a crowd because a lot of Gen Z, I think they reject a lot of the popular music. They really do. They like a lot of older music, and I totally appreciate that. Their music taste is very diverse. They're not just absorbing what the pop scene is giving them. So they're not really these artists that are these young artists that they're being pushed. They're not being organically promoted.
so are you? So you're millennial.
I am.
Okay, so millennial. Devin, you're Z, right? Older Z.
I'm that in between. I could be young millennial or older Z.
Right. Okay.
That weird.
Right. So being a Gen X, right? This is where I think it's what you're describing, is very similar to what I just can't stand about. I'm not going to get political, but just talking about how the political craziness that's going on is how people are surprised about this person's either politician's corrupt or this. This is like that is not a new thing. This is how it
Yeah,
is.
it's true, yeah.
It's very cyclical, right? And to your point about Z's now looking for older music, or that's very similar. Again, it's cyclical. Again, kids that grew up that their parents were wearing bell bottoms and so forth is now come back. It's very cyclical. It comes back around. Now, it's great that if you were grown up on, let's say, Led Zeppelin and rock and roll, and your kids are into listening to your music. Typically, you don't listen to your parents' music.
Right.
Now, for me, my parents are boomers, and I totally grew up listening to in the back of the station wagon on all the British Invasion, the 60s.
That's
and,
all I was allowed to
all that
listen
stuff.
to.
Right. So parents are big Beatles fans. Again, they came over, from the UK in the 60s. So totally influenced my music style. And I've seen Paul McCartney again on the feedback that my mom had seen Paul McCartney, earlier that one year. And she's like, I said, all right, I'm going to go spend the $200 to see Paul McCartney for a floor seat at the Miami Arena, right? Because it's a Beatle, right? So
Well, it's bucket list. You know, you got to do
exactly,
it now.
right.
Do it
Exactly,
now
right.
or forever hold your peace.
Right. So I think to where you're going, right? I agree with you. Is that an ageism thing? Is I don't want to hear some kid trying to lecture me but at the same time, it's nothing new. The crazy outfits, you know, we were just talking last night about how, remember when Lady Gaga was crazy meat suits and things that now she's like seen differently, right? Which, by the way, you know, did you watch the Grammys?
Oh, well, I saw her. Oh, I thought we were going to say what she played before the Super Bowl. That was the last thing that I saw her do.
Okay.
It was
Yeah,
just
that was dope,
good.
too.
Yeah,
On
right,
Bourbon
right.
Street.
With all the New Orleans artists and stuff. That was
So the
incredible.
week prior, right, the Super Bowl, so the Grammys was the week prior.
Yep.
She dropped her whole new album and a video in the middle of the Grammys during a commercial break. And it was like, just telling Brad,
So
like,
cool.
man, she's back, right? And her, you know, was very reminiscent of, you know, the Monster, you know, famous, Monster Famous or whatever the big hit,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Fame
So,
Monster.
but I hear you, you know, so here's, you know, Chapel.
Oh my God, we've said her name wrong like so
Yeah,
many times
so,
during the break.
yeah.
It's Chapel.
Chapel Roan.
But I said
Yeah.
Chappelle Roan to some girl a few months ago, and I got teased by some Gen Zs. And I totally
Okay, boomer.
took it.
That would have been great.
I'm so glad I didn't say that because I would have had no comeback. I would have been like, I'm just going to go home. It's all right.
You don't even know her name.
Well,
No,
so
but they educated me in a funny way. But you know, she's awesome. But
Yeah.
she's actually genuinely talented.
she is.
Right.
For sure.
And we were talking
Incredible.
before we went live. You know, I was listening to Pink Pony Club 2 years before it blew up to what it is right now. It wasn't even. I found it in an indie playlist on Spotify, and so I kind of want to come to that point. But I want to put this out there too. The Beatles were teenagers when they launched into their careers. And so they were talking about things that they had no idea about.
Right. Yep.
You know, Springsteen, young guy from Jersey. And so it all has to start somewhere. So I love pop music. I love these kids that come out there do it. And I understand the whole industry plant. And you could tell when an artist that comes out of nowhere, assumingly, is totally backed by a producer or some sort of machine. But you have highlights like Chapel Roan.
Awesome.
Chapel Roan.
But this is, again, not a new thing.
Gen Z's going to
Totally.
slam us on this, by the way. Gen Z in the comments is like, why can't you get her name right?
Before we go to a different part of that, we give Spotify a lot of shit because they don't pay their artists very well. We all know it. It's
Harsh
not-
but fair.
But it is the single most available place to go and find new music by independent artists.
Yeah, for sure.
In the world. And you can find it on your own accord. It's not like Pandora where you have to go through the algorithm and it gives you what you think you want. It's not like iTunes, or at least how it used to be, where you have to pay for everything. Spotify listens to your tastes. It uses its algorithm to curate playlists for you and give you new stuff, because I'm constantly on the lookout for new indie pop, because I love pop music. I love, you know, electronic music, because it's so wildly different from what I play for my job. You know,
And to be fair, Spotify's genuinely, well, they say they are, and I trust it to a degree. They're genuinely trying to crack down on fake streams and bots and stuff, which is good, because, you know, that's like how, you know, the whole concept of like an industry plant, like they have, the concept is, okay, there's all these computers that are running streams on people like falsely, right? So they're saying outspokenly on the platforms for artists that we are cracking down on this. And that's why if you're going to work with like promotional services, you got to know that they're legit, because, and I don't think that that's even a thing right now, because
you
they
definitely
know,
don't want to get blacklisted
right.
from Spotify.
And I think that
sure.
you don't even run into that really. So with these fly by night services, I think they're all gone under, because now they're genuinely making this case against it. Are they making it against, you know, Sony Records?
No.
I don't know, but they say they're doing that because they want to promote what's actually popular.
And we, a lot of the, obviously we're on YouTube right now, is YouTube is very strict about the views. right? Their watch
Right.
hours, that they're legit views, not bots or things like that. But one thing though is I want to throw this to Devin here because Devin will explain it a lot better than I can. Is something he had shared with us about a algorithm hack about like TikTok, social media on ways to get views or listens and so forth. So Devin,
I don't really know how valid this hack still is. If it's still a thing, people.
all right, never mind,
really
Devin.
exploit. Well, because
Disclaimer.
because it's the landscape shifts.
It's busted.
It's always shifting and stuff, and new rules and algorithms crack down on old exploits and whatnot. But what was going on for a while was like, okay, I don't know how widespread across different artists it was, but for what was it, Jason Derulo, I think it was, that was specifically called out for this, was that he would basically take other people's I don't know if it was primarily TikTok and then also on YouTube or vice versa, but let's just say TikTok. He was taking other people's TikToks and just putting like his face in the corner and like doing like a fake reaction to the video. All the while, his music is what's playing on that video. So when you see the video, that stream of his song counts in his his numbers in some way. I don't really know on the back end how that works for him, but
we told Kevin, right? We told Kevin. So I did an experiment with a couple of the clips we made. I made some reels from the show, and I on 3 different platforms. And I may or may not have done the same song, but I said, all right, well, this one got this many views, and this one got this many. Tell me what you see on your end from your publishing people. That did the views actually count? Did they get recognized? And but Devin, that same one that I said, cracking the algorithm, is that video still pops up on TikTok as one of the people it's still out there, and I'm seeing likes from it. And that was a few weeks ago. So when
you put the song in, are you talking about you edited the song into the actual video?
No,
or you did it through the interface?
I did it through the interface.
Okay,
yeah, okay. Which is right, because you'll get dinged the other way with it.
Well, right. If you like when I make reels, so even when they're my own music, so if I make a reel with because I do lyric videos, right, and I do visualizers, so it's just different ways for people to experience the song, and like if I don't tag my own song in it, it'll be like
flagged.
Hey, you're flagged, and then I always have to tell them, be like, it's me, I promise, it's me, I'm verified,
it's me,
and then it takes them like 24 hours. They're like, oh, you're okay, but my own settings are that I allow anyone to use my music with credit.
Right.
So if it tags my song, I mean, obviously anyone can use it. So it always says well, you could use the song, but this is naughty. You did this wrong. And I'm like, I promise it's me. And like, oh, okay. But it's kind of funny. But it's cool how it picks that up. It knows that. So if I upload the reel without tagging the song.
Yep, you're going to get dinged.
And if I do that, here's what's funny. I make all kinds of reels, but if I do that with another song, because I'm using an editing software, and it auto-loads the song and I forget, sometimes it doesn't. And then but with mine, it always catches it. And
I feel like it depends on who your distributor is.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
I switched distributors recently.
Who do you use?
Oh, geez.
I use CD Baby.
So I'm a cheap
and
asshole.
I feel like they're all over it.
Every time a distributor wants to start charging, I just move to the next free one because I really don't care at all as long as it's available.
It's like car insurance.
So I was with
the yearly shop.
Oh, Jesus
That
Christ.
almost got me too. It wasn't like the one earlier.
There's some scary ones over there, Devin. I don't remember who it was. I moved to a new one called Route Note, and it's free. It's free distributing for your stuff, and it was only until then. What's the catch? They just take a percentage of your royalties, but my royalties don't come from streaming, so I don't care. It's all about placement.
But it depends on who you're with for songwriting.
Right, so you could pay them.
But I'm with ASCAP.
Right,
and I
same.
think CD Baby seems to behave with ASCAP. A lot of my friends are BMI, and they like DistroKid and these other ones.
Yeah,
but I feel like CD Baby and ASCAP play really well together.
I've never had trouble collecting royalties for me from any of the distributors I've worked with, including this current one. Not like a lot of people are streaming my 5-year-old records, or
Get on it, people. Let's
14-year-old
go.
records. But here nor there, it wasn't until I switched to this Route Note company, who have been very good, that they started finding my stuff on YouTube and dinging it.
Nice.
Yeah, on my own videos, of course. And so, but they told me, they were like, you can go in and write an email and say all of these songs should be good on this channel. And I haven't had a problem since, but
That's cool.
But I think that's cool.
Yeah.
CD Baby is notorious
That's the algorithm working.
for searching out
For the right reasons.
Right.
you know, unlicensed use of their stuff or their artists.
So I got one for you. There was, I don't know where it went, but there was some article or video I saw talking about copywriting beats.
Oh God, that
So-
sounds brutal.
Yeah, so you're like, oh, like sampling, you know, like, oh, that's the riff of a song or meat of the song. It was like just straight up beats to, and it's like
That would be so hard for the hip hop
well,
community.
well, that's just
though.
it. Is at what point, you know, Kevin and I, we've talked about how AI, you know, people are selling off their
Right.
catalog. Well, if they're selling off their catalog, either the big companies want to protect so they can go after and hammer down, you know, the ownership now on the rights,
Right.
or do they know at some point with all the free open source training of the models that they are sitting on a catalog full of stuff that they'll go ahead and once, like you were talking earlier, was once they start clamping down in a couple of years over control of AI.
For sure.
Oh, hey, I have training data that will license to you, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know. It's interesting. I do actually want to talk to you about something. What is how are you tied in and explain? And I would love to have you know, the owner of the company on AirTab. Can you talk about AirTab? Do you know? Are you familiar with AirTab or any gigs or anything, or do we want to cut scene now?
What is AirTab?
Okay.
I've heard of AirTab music. I don't know what it is.
Well, no, the reason why I ask is I thought I saw like a post or something on social media that actually featured you in this post.
Maybe by way of something else. So, I've never worked specifically. If AirTab's like a promotional entity, I've never specifically worked with them, but I have a promoter, like a music promoter that does single promotion for me, and I've only worked with them twice. And I just started with Jupiter Sunrise, and they like submitted me by way of their service to tons of things. But the thing is with these services, they have to like your content. So you can't just pay whatever amount of money. I mean, you could go on there and spend $500 on one song and get no placements. It has to be right. And you also submit, like, to a degree, the right thing. So you have to really describe your song right. But if AirTab is like, if that's one of those services, then it would have possibly been submitted to AirTab through this service that I used. And I got on, through that service, I got on like 6 different radio stations for Jupiter Sunrise, which Drift My Way, the single that I put out last year that got the Grammy submission, that song was on 2 radio stations, just, you know, organically from like manual submission through that, you know, through being a Grammy submission. So it got on a UK station, and actually that was a blues station that I met through the blues community. And then the other one was specifically a gentleman that works with like a lot of these Grammy voting people. So he put that on his, but this service got Jupiter Sunrise, besides being on those channels with those guys that I already knew, it got it on like 4 different online radio stations in 3 different countries. So like Jupiter Sunrise has been on 5 countries stations, or 4 or 5, something like that. Portugal, I think it was like maybe Spain or Brazil, I can't remember. And then UK, US, and I'll have to look it up. But it was really awesome. But AirTab, if they're one of those partners, then that, you know, could be it. But what was really interesting about that, and I didn't do any submissions to TikTok artists because I didn't think Jupiter Sunrise as a surf rock song was right for that. You can submit to these TikTok people that have like 500,000 followers, but they have to like what you have. So it's got to either be something that they can make a post about what they do as their business too, like in the backdrop, or like, you know, dance or whatever, or do a lifestyle video. It has to be right for their channel. So you can't just make nonsense music and then throw money at it and it works. Like, it doesn't.
Right.
So at the end of the day, you still have to have something that people want to hear.
Sure.
But it certainly is, they facilitate that. And I've only worked with one service, but there's other ones out there. It's just a key of making sure that it's legit. And also the price point has to be functional.
Right.
Because none of us are sitting around on thousands and thousands of dollars to do what the record companies do. But
Right. Exactly.
if it's good, it can still break through to some degree.
All right, so I'm going to show you this here. I'm going to give you my phone here in a second. So I'm wondering am I obviously...
It's not a video post of me getting thrown out of Rachel's, is it? Because if that goes viral, I'm in.
Oh, you're done. Yeah, for sure.
No, I'm done. I'm not done.
Am I wrong?
I mean, that's definitely her.
Well, she would know.
Well, that is me. But
Okay.
what is the post?
Oh yeah.
So
That's not
drunk girl thrown out of Rachel's.
Oh, man,
film
that-
at 11.
Palm,
That
yeah.
news
Palm
story
Beach,
came
Palm
out-
Beach Post.
Oh, this.
That
Oh
news
wait.
story came out so late.
No, this was on TMZ.
All right, Tiddies and Beer podcast is on.
They're perfect. Excellent. Yes. Yeah. No, this was a January 29th post on the site AirTab Music and also with Here and Now Live. You're the front cover of this carousel, right? With Victoria Cardona,
She's awesome.
Tom Jackson Band, Stacy's Soul Band, Danny Allen, and Josh Horton, John Sills,
I know all of these people.
Jason Craig, Rogue Theory Band,
Oh, know them.
Samantha Russell.
Know her. She's great.
Yeah, it says get more bookings. It says get more bookings with AirTab Music. So
Apparently, they want me to get more bookings with AirTab Music.
well,
that's
so,
cool. That's interesting. I don't know what that is.
Yes.
I'm not really in the know.
Yeah, so so that's why I was interested when I saw
That is interesting.
why I asked is because I saw you were part of a post and just really interested in because they also put on the charity event that like Save Our Music. I think what's say here.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah, right. So the Gwen Stefani show, and they had a big show here up at the Blue Point parking
with
lot.
Luke Bryan. Yeah.
You're right. Yeah. So I'm trying to remember the
Is
guy's
there
name.
another group affiliated with that? Like maybe Sun, Sand, and Sea or any of those groups? By the way, if you don't know Sun, Sand, and Sea Global, they're amazing. Local guys putting on a really cool, like original music, like showcases in different places. So they're like a really cool. So just a couple of the artists that you mentioned sounded like people that have done that before.
Yeah. So I was into. I've heard about AirTab for a while, and it was one of those like, how do you connect? Maybe it was a different app. I'm thinking also too is how they can connect. You could check into places where there's music and things, and which I thought to me is like it's right up our alley. That what we're trying to connect these dots between musicians and venues and brands and things because they're all living that same ecosystem of you play at a bar, that bar
Right.
sells alcohol, you know what I mean, and all these things. So, yeah, I got to find out more because, like I said, I think it's local here in Jupiter.
I clearly
At the
don't
end
know
of the day,
enough.
you should look into it because they're using your likeness to promote their business.
AI, they took
Yeah,
your,
I
that's
don't.
right.
I'm not really
Maybe it's
on
like
the
I
up
don't
and up
know
of
if
that.
it's
I'm not aware.
curating just
Right.
photos because these are all those are all Jupiter based acts.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe it's pulling images from
Yeah, it could be.
Jupiter based musicians.
And the irony is right. It's you. I don't
Then
think
I'd be like, you're gonna have to pay me for using my
No,
photo.
they don't have to pay me. They can just buy me a beer and then tell me what they do. I'm totally in. I'll
right. So I
totally
mean,
be
you
on
didn't get
board.
to. I mean, I clicked on the photo here, and it doesn't show that you're tagged even in the picture. I mean, neither is.
I don't look nearly good enough in that picture for anyone to want to like pirate that image. So I'm just like,
But none of these
I'm
artists-
So surprised.
They never tagged. They never tagged any of these artists.
Oh,
Now-
you just know who they are. Yeah. Okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, again, other than saying, okay, this guy's playing at Tiki 52, so
Yeah. Then it's probably like cultivated off.
Yeah, I
of
wonder
maybe,
if it's
Sailor's
scraped
Return.
from somewhere.
so somebody's playing a Tin Roof, right? And this guy's here, and then I'm
Interesting.
just really Manja. You know, John Sills is playing a Manja. So
We're learning a lot tonight.
so I'm just
Shout out John Sills. I know him.
Yeah.
So
John Sills.
So I'm just again curious is part of the booking versus the aspect because again about social media.
Booking is hell.
you would want to tag more people and stuff because if Samantha Russell saw this post and if it is Aaron,
Well, she's about to because we're going to send it to her.
right, I'm like yeah.
She probably knows what it is.
So January 20. Well, this is January 23rd, 29th. When the post was for her show.
Oh, cool.
But
So it's actually tagging shows in it.
No, I mean they just all there was is like it was like, hey, here's a little cover of Samantha Russell playing on this date. Like all these artists, here's dates of these artists.
So what is mine? What's my date?
You're just a cover picture.
I'm just a face.
You're just a pretty face in the picture on the front page of the.
Once again, I'd understand if I looked good in that picture, but
you look rock and roll in
this
there.
is an extremely interesting situation. This is a case study.
Yes,
yeah, I'm intrigued.
Right. All right, so it sounds like she's going to have to come back.
Wait do you see who's about to walk through the door?
Is it Mr. Airtab? Oh.
No, it's the manager from Rachel's.
Oh, God, no!
He is not your father.
We tracked him down.
Honestly, I wouldn't know him if he saw me, and I sure hope he wouldn't know me if he saw me.
I don't recognize. Can you turn around and let me try to put $20 in your pants? Oh, yeah. Now you look familiar.
Oh, mission fail.
Was this the podcast you thought you were getting into?
Every podcast I go on becomes this podcast, whether they want it to be or not. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Well, that just means you're going to have to come on ours next.
Yes.
You get to meet Sweet Derek.
If you don't think I'm down for meeting Sweet Derek.
Oh, yes.
Sweet Derek needs to meet Sweet Fox. We have to discuss sweet cocktails.
Whoa.
There's so many beverages that you might not have had on that yet.
Oh,
He's had a lot. Yes.
As a retired bartender, Sweet Derek's going to know. I shouldn't do this. The worst drink I ever made. Some guy came up and he's like, "Oh, you have to make not 4 horsemen, but it was like a 3 wise men or some horrible name, like some insane name." And I'd been bartending for 10, 12 years. I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "You have to take the 4 dustiest bottles off your shelf and make a shot." And I'm like, "What? Again, you're consenting to this?" He goes, "Here we are at Tommy Bahama in Harborside. The 4 bottles that you've never poured a shot out of, or haven't in years, you have to make a shot and I have to drink it." And I'm like, first of all, why are you doing this to yourself?
Yeah, don't do it to yourself, man. You
Second
crazy
of all,
idiot.
why do I have to reach to the top shelf? Like, I can barely reach that. It's like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, hitting the top of the backboard. So
that's why they're dusty.
I pulled down just 4 obscene things that are all liqueurs. I mean, obviously they're all liqueurs.
The Galliano's up at the top.
No, the Galliano always stays close to the corner because that's a whomping stick if somebody gets out of control. I learned that at RJ Gators.
Oh, man, you're dropping some.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, no, if somebody gets rowdy, you've always got the Gallianos like a whomping, over the top of the bar, and it's got the momentum from the
It's got some reach, yeah.
Oh, it's good. So anyway, no, it's not the Galliano, but it was these 4 horrible liqueurs. And like a scotch. I mean, it's like the worst thing you could put together. And this poor bastard drank this shot and went on with his night. And I have to imagine it ended with a very poor evening. Like it had to be like a bathroom confession.
Or an arrest.
Oh, he was staying at the hotel that's connected to Tommy Bahama. So you got to really try.
Was
he falling asleep falling asleep against the urinal?
Into the cop car.
Oh, absolutely. He did the double hand.
Yeah, was he falling
The
asleep
double
at the
hand
urinal?
stand.
That's
yeah.
for you.
The
That's for you,
lean-to.
buddy.
Yeah, the lean-to. He did the lean-to.
Wait, I didn't get that on camera.
It's I don't know. You ever go on cruises? You ever do any cruising?
I don't know if you can handle my cruise stories.
We're gonna compare cruise stories.
So if
Okay.
So you're Filipino bartenders because they're all Filipinos. Have you ever had a wang wang?
Oh no, I would never allow them to pour me such a thing.
Right. So wang wang is basically a Long Island.
Oh no.
But legend has it that some American cruiser asked a Filipino bartender one time to just make the strongest drink possible.
Oh, no.
So all they did was take everything in the well, pour it into a cup, and then put some cranberry juice and some pineapple juice in and shake it up. And you get wang wang. And they have a special saying for wang wang. I love wang wang. 2 at the most. 3, you're under the table. And 4, you're under the host.
Interesting.
I'm going to come.
That was perfect.
Not bad. Not bad, sir.
Wang wang. Yeah.
Wang
wang. That's a bad time. I mean, whoever invented the Long Island iced tea, though, was an equally troubled individual.
I imagine similar story.
But you know what's great about the Long Island tea?
What?
Long Island.
Did you just have one?
Yeah, I had a seizure there. I said what's good about the Long Island
droopy
iced
face, man. What's going on
Yeah,
over
I
there?
know. It's when you go to Applebee's and get that 2 for $20, you know, the song, and you get a Long Island iced
I
tea.
thought it was Chili's.
Dollaritas at Applebee's.
Yeah. Isn't the song? Yeah.
Stop. Okay.
The Applebee's song.
I'm going to pause you and then we're going to come right back because did you see the commercial like 3 months ago during Halloween, 4 months ago during Halloween? And it was the dollar zombie, right? And it was a hand coming out of the grave to reach this neon nuclear blue drink. And it said dollar zombie at Applebee's. And I said, everybody needs to stop. Pause the marketing team. Pause everybody that's in any kind of creative development for Applebee's. Did you think it was a good idea to tell people about the waking up dead out of the grave for the $1 neon blue drink? RFK Jr. would never. I mean, this is a shocking turn of events.
Maybe that's
we're drinking.
Maybe that's how the outcome of this election would
We're
cause
drinking.
it. Too many people were fucked up and just
We're
didn't go
drinking.
vote.
Saw how they make the Dollaritas.
$1 neon blue drink, and you don't think that might go really wrong? That zombie is not even like a paid actor. That's a person that drank that last.
That drank
night.
them. It was me. It was me. I still get royalties for that
Zombies.
commercial.
He's still wiping
So,
the blue off him.
I won't name the location of this particular Applebee's. However, I saw them making Dollaritas and an orange Home Depot bucket,
Nice.
and it's just like a packet of dust
That's just college.
Oh, Kool-Aid.
and booze.
That's jungle juice or whatever the horrible. Yeah, that's college. That's just immune system building for young 20-somethings. Now, if you're like some 45-year-old regular individual walks in there and drinks out of that, that's a bad time. Yeah, that's a bad moment.
Well, yeah, you're definitely going to have a sugar spike.
But at the Alpha Sig House on Friday night, like that's a normal thing, you know? God, why do we do that?
All right.
Seriously, can we talk about something?
Yeah, we're-
We'll
cooler
go back
and
to
more
talking
hemp?
about.
We're gonna talk about something else here. So we're gonna jump in here to our Reach Solar Rising Star Rising Showcase. Kevin and I still haven't quite figured this segment out just yet. There's his beautiful face on the back of this pamphlet there.
God, could they not
So-
stretch him out anymore? Look how thin Kevin is.
He looks good. You need
That
to,
is so
Jesus.
good.
we need to work on that there. So we're gonna do our.
Bonehead.
We're gonna.
To be
Wow,
fair,
that-
it is
that's your-
revolutionizing things.
That's your
Coneheads.
That's your homeboy too. We're gonna do our segment, our riffs or rhythms, to see what makes the song. Is it the riff? Or
Excuse
the
me,
rhythm?
sir. It's Rhythms and Rhythms tonight.
Oh, forgot. Oh,
Today,
forgot.
this morning,
I
Tuesday.
forgot. Okay, sorry. Rhythms and rhythms. So we got here coming up here. So Sally, we got his videos. Florida musicians, obviously, we promote Florida independent musicians, Florida musicians in general. Their original music, obviously the festival. We've talked about the festival, and we are planning some other events too at some point. But
I'm
so
going to
we've
be at one of them.
most certainly.
gonna
So
happen.
yes. And we've got a song here. So part of it is too. This is a blues artist here from Florida.
Awesome.
And if Brad's going to the fridge for another beer, I'll take one too. Yeah, we don't have our Marg tonight, our Marge, right? We're missing our Marge. So
If there's beers, I might have to investigate one of those.
okay, we'll pass one over. So we normally have somebody here with us that's off camera to help pass some things around. That's why we have an opening for a
we've got
bartender.
2 for 1. We've got
Yeah.
2 for 1.
So get Brad, give her one. Or yeah. So get one for yourself.
Can I do this?
Go for it. Oh,
What a sound. Exceptional. Here. Nice. Oh, that was like a 3-piece sound. Well done.
all right. Now we got one. Waiting for Brad to do his thing.
Okay, I'm back.
We were worried.
Go ahead, pop the top
Papa Top.
because it's almost beer 30.
That is a good song. I just heard that again the other day, and I was, cutting a rug.
He knows how to do it.
I was cutting a rug. Here.
Cheers.
To Tiddies and Beers.
Titties and beers.
It's an authentic Fox Maple. Cheers.
New song coming out here from Fox Maple, Titties and Beers.
No, I can't do that because it's too obvious. However,
So it's 2 for 1.
I may soon hide those lyrics in another song, but it won't be titled that. I have to keep it a little on the wraps. Only the insiders know. So if you're hearing Titties and Beer, you're an insider.
Jugs and suds.
We're almost there. That's close. Jugs and mugs.
Jugs and hugs.
Well, that's just a nice that's the Sesame Street one. Well, not really.
That's my OnlyFans page. So
We're gonna keep working on this. We got a bunch. We're gonna have like 10 by the end of the night.
We're almost in the zone.
you need to have her on the show and just do a songwriting on the spot night, like an in the round on Almost Done. Just yeah.
No,
Yeah.
mine freestyled would be too insane. Yeah. There's no
That sounds
filter
like a
with
challenge.
freestyling. It just gets
There is no filter on this show at any part.
So then what you need
Just
is
remember, it can get worse.
you need the broadcast to be on a delay, and you need somebody on a bleep button.
Great call, absolutely. And mine would just be bleep for like 3 minutes straight, and people are like, "What the hell did you just say?"
Because sometimes I do forget. Like we simulcast to a couple internet radio stations, and I never think about
And
them
you get
at all.
blacklisted, and you get
I
blacklisted.
never ever think about them when
Blacklist.
we're just running amok.
So if Fox is on your show and then she thinks it's going to be just all B, people may confuse that with the sound of emergency broadcasting. It's like, am I going to? Is this an Amber Alert?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Where
it
did
also
you get kidnapped?
it triggers sleeper agents to like come out of their like.
Man, you got to watch your mouth.
I know that was rough.
All right, let's get to this song here. Review of the song to determine if it's the riffs or rhythms or something in between. So Sally, again, we're not judging the video or anything. It's just, again, is listen to the song and say what really the essence of made this song is the riff of the song or the rhythm, or there's something that Lefty actually had coined on this show and called the riffdom. That was a blend of both the riff and the rhythm that can blend perfectly. So we've got here tonight, got Rusty Wright Band out of Florida, and this is called Devil Man Blues.
This video is a fever dream.
Yeah, this is really pretty fun.
Yeah, I forgot to mention, this is very much, we do this like Mystery Science Theater 3000 style. So we'll talk through the video here.
I'm not going to talk nearly as much crap as those guys did, but this is already a very cool video to experience.
So I'm really trying to listen for the riff here. I mean, it's in there.
Well, you
But
got to listen with your blues ear,
Yeah.
because when you're hearing that, that's an actually fairly less common blues into that chord progression, but that little riff is like, I don't hear that as much. I really like the video. I'm sorry, but I'm totally digging
It's sometimes
Super trippy.
so you got to sometimes be careful because you get
it. Right, yeah.
right,
Well, I have ADD. Like, I'm totally like,
yeah.
psyched about it. The vocals have that very cool, like, strokesy compression. I wonder if he used a lot of compression in the live shows too, because that's like a very underutilized vocal trend in the blues, like live at least.
That sounds like coming through a megaphone.
Yeah, or they have those really cool old school microphones, you know, that have that built-in compression.
Let me come inside. I'm your devil man. Let me do what you please. I'm your devil man, baby. I'm down on my knees. You can tell me anything, 'cause I'm here to believe I'm your devil man.
Almost like an overdrive on the vocals. You know?
Yeah.
The fucking bass is fucking great.
That would probably be really sweet in a car with like a really big subwoofer. Like
Yeah.
that bass and that bass drum would really drive.
Now, this would not be considered a second solo, right? Would you call it's? I mean, what is it?
It's
What
a
is it?
solo.
Yeah, I think it's
Right.
I think the first one you could say is just like an instrumental piece because
Yeah.
it was kind of shorter, but this is like a true blues solo. Unless maybe they have two guitar players and they're just rocking them both. Oh, that was an outro solo. No, that's an outro solo, which I'm a big fan of. Nice.
So that's off the album, Hanging at the Deville Lounge
You sure it's not the DeVille?
Ah.
Chapel.
Deville.
I was just gonna do it. I'm so glad you did it. That was good. That was fire.
So yeah,
I'm a blues fanatic.
Yeah.
I really am. That was
so that was our review here. So again, there's a lot to kind of unwind on that. Again,
Not for me. I'm very sure what I think it is.
I always try, obviously, because obviously being the rhythm on the show here is, I always try to make the effort to go a little further out to really listen harder for the riff or in there. But again, we've talked in the show it's not just about the drums, but again, the rhythm is also the bass
For sure.
and the drums and many other parts, right? The rhythm of the song. So to me, it is the rhythm. I really wanted to try to. That's why I was asking questions about is it guitar? Is the guitar in there really the one driving the song? But I don't know. To me, it was definitely the rhythm. So
Without a doubt, hands down, riff.
really
Because the bass was following the guitar riff.
okay,
The whole time.
okay,
yeah.
okay.
While repetitive, that was the riff. That was the riff was the entire song, and the rhythm was just
Following it.
the rhythm never changed. It was the same drum beat through the entire song.
My man.
Now, the
though,
riff
that's
didn't
some
change
blues,
either.
My man.
I get it.
Holding that.
I get it.
Holding that.
I am a man of the blues. They all write the songs about me.
Oh, okay. There we go.
They read the autobiography, Muddy Waters.
Was it?
You ask him,
Was it about you? Sorry.
Mannish boy,
Muddy Waters wrote his biography about Brad.
Mannish boy.
I was gonna let you take that one.
Muddy Waters. I was a white boy in a black body.
Oh, I have a question though. Genuine question for the rhythm folks that are listening. What would you, talking to a young like blues interested drummer, what would you refer to that drum beat, that rhythm? What would you refer to that for them? Like as they're on an educational basis and they're learning, how do you play that?
I mean, a lot of the blues stuff that I always, it's very very shuffly, swingy, kind of, loose and pocket driven,
Yeah, it's like a swing, right?
Yeah.
Because that was kind of a straightforward.
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of like a.
It's like the
It's
building
someone's a very-
blocks of like really good blues, right?
Yeah.
So, you
Yeah.
know, I love the video. I know that that's so cheesy and I'm like annoying because I'm not talking about the song first, but I have talked about the video first because I honestly think that as an artist, if you can push your video content to be really interesting, whatever you do, however you do it, that to me is interesting video content. So they're already doing things better than just a regular guy like down the street. So I like that. And I like the production. I'm interested in the vocal compression And I want to know if they use that live, because I don't see that. I'm like I love vocal compression. Remember the Strokes, like when they first came out
Right, yeah.
with that one album was like 2005 maybe 2004 with like Trying Your Luck and all the songs, like that vocal compression. People are like, whoa, what is that? It's like the oldest trick in the book. But do you do that live? Because I'd love to see that.
Right.
But also, I think that guy's vocals have enough dynamics that I'd love to see more songs like with where he goes with that. So I think that I understand the rhythm driving the song because it's such a classic blues beat. But the beginning of the song really highlighted that riff and the guitar. And then later in the song, it seemed to kind of fade away into the background because he was playing other stuff.
Right.
But I think it did drive the beginning. So I think it's like a balance between the riff and the rhythm.
So you're saying rhythm?
Sure. Yeah. But I think that to me, it was a content-driven song. The content, like the visual content, took over in a good way. But it's a great song.
So the irony is, right, we say that we just solely judge a song on what drives it. What makes the song? Is it riff? So yes, ironically, we are watching a video, which really we shouldn't, when some people have said...
Oh, you should have blinded me.
Oh, okay.
Should have blinded me. But if I was just... turn the video screen off.
There you go.
If I only listened, I still would think it's like a very close balance.
So blues in general, here we go. Obviously, we've talked last episode about the Blues Society, Treasure Coast Blues Society. Again, we got a big event coming up here. Obviously, we're big promoters, supporters, part of the official podcast of the B3 Podcast Network, Riffs and Rhythms. So this definitely ties in here. So the question then is, you threw it to me, and I'll throw it back, is saying, is the blues more typically considered a guitar type of genre?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think that it has to be. I know blues artists that can defy that, but I do think that the blues has been driven as far as like the people that were the trailblazers of the blues were all iconic guitar players of their time. And the blues was born out of just being on the side of the road and playing guitar, whether they knew how classically trained or not. But guitar always pushed the blues into its next, facet. And that's still happening with the emerging blues artists. And, obviously what I think is the coolest thing about the blues are the people that are so dedicated to keeping its history alive.
Right.
There's so many kinds of music that they just completely ignore their history. They just burn it down, and they don't think about it. I would say that one of the things that's hurtful about like watching the rock scene, like if you watch the Grammys, the rock scene is non-existent at the Grammys now. And that is horrible. But I think that's record label influence. I don't think it's listener influenced. I think that if I go up to a random person anywhere in the world and I say, do you like rock music? They're all going to say yes. But the powers that be, they're not protecting it. Because the history of rock and roll is incredible, but also the history of rock and roll is the history of the blues. Like there's a massive crossover.
Right.
But the blues, because of the type of artists that they've had, they were artists that were more protective of their history and culture. And the blues is doing a much better job of trying to protect their culture
Than rock.
And then you go to the punk scene and they're like, oh, we have a history? And I'm like, bro, like the punk history is so cool. But, it's like the punk history is so rooted in like underground and club scene and like whatever and like
Anti everything. Yeah.
So, and it's hard for them too because there's new punk artists, but they get labeled as something else. Like it's hard. And like the metal scene is its own world. So being someone that came from the metal and punk scene, it's like, it's weird because the metal scene is like thriving in its own world and they want nothing to do with anyone else.
Yep.
But they have their own world, and then the punk scene is like drowning and they're not like, caught between genres. The rock scene is dead in pop music, like popular music. And yet there's people listening to it constantly. The number one songs, if you pull like the top 100 songs on like Ultimate Guitar, top 100 songs that musicians are learning and streaming, or not streaming, but they're pulling up the tabs for. They're 90% of them are rock songs from like classic rock songs. Okay, if you take all the bands in all of Palm Beach County, what are they playing? 90% of what these bands are playing are classic rock.
Sure, of course.
And how crazy is it that you have that much listenership of rock, and yet there's no primetime representation of the Grammys?
So okay, so
It's crazy.
Yeah. So all right. So we
Like, there's no rock artists out there? I mean, of course there are.
Well, there are, right. So the local rock radio station for whatever it is the Gator 98.7, and you will hear the same stuff throughout the day. At nighttime and in the weekends, you may have you hear something different occasionally. I've heard even Nirvana on there, which again goes back to, is that considered classic rock? Well,
sadly, it's
now,
But no.
but considering
not right now. No.
Well, like
Thank God.
in a car, you can get a license plate that's a classic car once it's 25 years old, right?
Right.
So is it classic in the sense of that? Okay, yeah, sure. So here, I'll throw you this, you guys, and then we'll kind of wrap the show up here. But okay, so this is kind of leads into kind of where you're going. So the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominees for this year, and have you seen the list?
Is it the nominees or the inductees?
No, so this Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Foundation today announced a list of 14 performer nominees to be considered for induction. Okay, so on the list here, Bad Company, The Black Crowes, Mariah Carey, Chubby Checker, Joe Cocker, Billy Idol, Joy Division New Order, Cyndi Lauper, Mana, Oasis.
Oh, Mana. That's
Who's Mana?
Isn't that
Mana.
Manana?
no? Isn't that the Red Rockers band?
Who? Sammy?
How's
Sammy.
it spelled? How's it spelled?
What was it? What was his band before Van Halen?
How's
Montrose.
How's it spelled?
Montrose. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Mana with the accent on the A.
Oh, okay.
Mane.
Oh, cool.
Mane. Oasis, Outcast,
Always. Oh, yeah. Well, there's a lot going on.
Fish,
Yes.
Soundgarden,
Yes.
and the White Stripes.
There's a lot of good there. Then there's some very strange and bizarre things. I love Mariah Carey. Massive fan. Not rock.
Okay. So why is Dolly Parton in the Hall of Fame?
I think that, I think the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has just become like more of a music Hall of Fame, I guess.
Yeah, I
Fair,
think
okay.
that's where
And-
it's
and
at.
it's-
It
and
sounds like that's what it is.
Right.
Is there not? Okay, wait. Isn't there also like?
It's
Is there
country-
also a music
there's
Hall
a country,
of Fame?
there's
I think
There's a country music. I mean, obviously
Right,
what the Ryman has right?
in Nashville. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so if maybe there's a huge gap between the Ryman and the rock and roll, and they just kind of like put a lot of stuff in under that.
Well, it goes back to, I think we talked about this last episode when we were, or maybe it was on our trip up to the Vera Blues Festival. We were talking about how the very first metal Grammy went to Jethro Tull.
Oh,
No,
interesting.
this
Yeah,
is
when
this,
Metallica
this is a
was
couple.
up
This is a
against
couple.
them.
This is a couple episodes I think ago. We talked about this because I know Devin.
And
you-
how long
you
has
looked
it
up.
been? I wonder. We should Google.com it. How long has it been since that award was played in the primetime Grammy show?
right.
Oh yeah. So
Because
that-
the best part of the Grammys is what you don't see on television. Like Taj Mahal is.
Oh
gotta
my
be
God! Yeah,
90 years
oh
old
my
and
God.
won Best Blues Record.
Yeah.
No.
And it's like, I'm sorry, but they continue to miss the mark on demographics because once again, they're pushing something that to everyone that is not what everyone wants to see. And it must be because they think, well, our test audiences are that 90% of regular music listeners are not going to tune in.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, that's probably because you did stuff on your Grammys broadcast for the last 10 years that they weren't into, whatever it was. Maybe you didn't keep it about the music. Maybe you decided to talk about things that people didn't want to talk about all the time.
Well,
That's like a bummer. Like, you're just going to talk about pop and
Yeah.
R&B and hip hop the whole time. I love hearing about them, but can we also talk about other stuff? Diversity is good, right?
So how do you scale down a 3-hour show? Right. I do like the fact that they are showing performances.
Yeah,
it's
and that's cool.
Every performance gets kind of crazy.
They need to have some,
Right.
for sure.
So if you have a lot of performances and you're only giving away like 5 awards on stage, so it's a hard trade.
I get the balance, but when you compare it to 20 years ago,
It was not like that.
When you had when you had a bigger variety of music, you had rock bands.
Yeah.
While you had pop acts, while you had crazy shit, country artists.
And they also have like a ton of different awards per category, like per like genre. So you don't have to show them all, but you should show like a bit from a lot of genres. If you covered 20 genres instead of 5, and you showed 20 genres and you had like 1 of each versus 5 genres with 10 of each. But who am I? But I'm just an average viewer. But that's why people like me don't watch, because I don't want to go on there and only see 4 kinds of music represented. Even though and that's what's so funny, because the people that perform could be genres that they don't play. That's what's insane. I mean, if you get a rock artist up there playing and they're like playing with a pop artist or something, and then like their category is not even shown on television.
So why is it easier for pop and R&B to cross into everywhere else, but not the other way around?
It's not. It's fake easier because they're just being facilitated by the powers that be.
Yeah. And, social media has a huge influence, whether it's legitimate or not. It's what's being fed to viewers and listeners. I'm on social media all the time, but for me, it's part of the gig. But my wife is an amazing case study for me because she loves TikTok. She watches TikToks all day. She learns things from TikTok. She really absorbs information, but she's on it all the time.
And that's good because she's giving you notes.
And so I go, okay, so I pay attention to what gets her going, what is influencing her in her life.
The Geordie Files.
Shout
out.
And so, shout out Geordie Files. And so I find it fascinating because I love marketing. I love that whole, I love being marketed to.
Yeah.
Because then I take a census. What made me click on that? What made me
interesting.
Listen to this?
That's part of my day job. Yeah. I do love it. I love that.
The psychology behind it is amazing. And I love pop music. I love it. It's like ear candy.
There's
and I think
tons of good new pop music. There's tons.
And I just love the sonic quality of pop music. I don't even care about content sometimes. It's just, wow, this sounds good. This makes me feel good. And so that all makes sense to me. That's not lost on me. Because then again, I'll go and listen to like old country music, or I'll go and listen to some indie music that's coming out. And I'm like, man, this is like amazing stuff. But the perfect example for me in this case is Chapel Roan.
Yeah.
Because Pink Pony Club caught my attention years ago.
Right.
And I was like, this song jams. This is a jam. But it's so unlike what her big album, the music on her big album.
Well, and I think that's why that's one of her favorite songs to play, right? I mean, that seems to be like her cult classic, if you will.
Right.
And she seems to really enjoy playing that song, probably because it's like, this is from this album, like.
Right. I mean, it was like 2 albums ago.
Totally.
But
you're an OG.
But TikTok took that song and pushed it in everybody's face, and everybody did TikToks with it. And so it just exploded.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing with Lady Gaga and the Bloody Mary tune, because someone mashed up her Bloody Mary song from Fame Monster, which was 10 years ago or more. Yeah, no, it was about 10 years ago, 2014.
Right? Yeah.
And
that's what Paparazzi was on, right?
Yeah. So they mashed it up with the Wednesday Addams dance, and it lit on fire. Cool. And so all of a sudden she had a #1 hit from a record from 10 years ago. Another case in point, and this is my last one, and then I'll return it back to the powers that be. But oh geez, what oh God, it's a single guy, single name. It's a guy.
Seal.
No, it's like I don't know. It's a Spanish Miguel. I think it's Miguel.
Okay.
And it's the song about, shit.
It's about shit. That's weird.
That sounds good.
Let me think of the words.
I like it.
Mierda.
He said mierda.
We're bilingual.
I don't know. Anyway, he
Well, okay, Latin person. So tell me what you're talking about. 'cause I
Right,
listen
but,
to Latin
but it's
music all
huge.
the time.
They still play it on Top 40 radio. Miguel, and it's like, oh, geez.
What was like the hinge point of the excitement?
Hang on. I can look it up.
Okay,
Hang on.
we can do that.
Hang on. We'll fix it in post.
No, we're
Fix
not
it in
fixing
post.
anything. I don't got time to edit this shit out.
Yeah, we got it. We got it.
You got it?
Look how fast that was. I'm
Yeah.
impressed.
Yeah. So, come on. What's the big song?
He's really good at ChatGPT. Well, who's the artist?
Miguel.
That's it, Miguel?
Yeah. And what's the big song? Come on. Give me the big song.
Anyway, while he's looking this up, so don't forget to check out Big Blues Blast.
I've heard really good things about Cedric. So I've heard he's super good. That's one of the only artists on
Yeah.
here that I haven't seen.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm really interested. If anybody would like to join me there and do a little clowning.
Oh, what does that? What does that mean?
Well, we could just clown a little bit. When I go clowning, I just like go out. Yeah, that's exactly what I do. I go out and like drink a few beverages, hang out, hype up the band, vibe, tip the bartender obnoxious amounts of large money. Just chill, meet people.
Well, we may need to have to get a caravan from Jupiter up because I know it's a little bit of a drive.
Oh no, I'll
up,
take
so,
take an Uber. I'll Uber. Should we
Get a
do
party
group
bus?
Ubers?
Yeah, party bus,
A
yeah.
group Uber is called a Gruber.
A Gruber?
Yeah.
Gruber.
Should we take
Well, did you know?
Gruber?
McGruber.
Yeah.
Well, did you,
Yeah.
have you ever used a band Uber? Boober?
Oh, a boober? No, everywhere I go is a boober. So if I'm driving the car and people are getting in, it's a boober. But no, absolutely, I love to roll like an Uber XL. If other people are coming, let's do it nice. Let's go Uber XL. It costs like $8 more a person.
Yeah.
And then we can roll up like a
ball
silent.
out, right? So so Devin, we'll come back to you here in a second, Brad. So because we're
Did you find it?
Chomping at the bit.
Yeah.
Did you
So
find it?
we're gonna pause them because it took them forever. So so since obviously Kevin, our MIA host here is performing. He's vice president of the Blue Society. We're part of it there. So I think Devin, we've talked about going up there, filming some stuff, right? So
Let's go.
Yeah. So we're so we'll be plugged into that. Let's make sure we kind of sync up. Yeah, again, we want to show a good force here to the event, support, and then all the proceeds, all the profits goes to the charity there. So a totally cool thing, right?
What's the location again?
Filthies in Vero Beach.
Very awesome.
Yep.
Can't wait to clown out.
Let's clown. Is there a clown car? What about a clown car with like a vroom vroom? Like, come on, yeah.
He'll have to work on that.
You know what we're gonna work on? We're gonna get the one from Family Guy where all the clowns like unload out of the car in front of the clam. Yeah, we're gonna have some, and then we're gonna get Krusty. Oh, the sky's the limit for us, Devin.
I think since
Drugs are bad. You shouldn't do drugs.
Yep.
I think since
That was so
I think
good.
since Fox is a local here, we might have. So again, we always talk about if you ever wanted to hang out like in the studio audience and just hang out and
the studio.
yeah.
You
So.
did not want me in the studio.
No, yeah. Well, we had it a couple weeks ago. We did have Tracy was here. She was part of the studio audience.
Oh, yeah.
We had her crack. We had her cracking up. Yeah. So, but anyway, all right. So you've been chomping at the bit.
Chomping at the bit. Very
Miguel.
quickly. Miguel, Sure Thing. That song. It's a sure thing. It's a sure thing.
I can't believe you're not going to play it into the speaker. I'm blasted by that. I thought for sure you're going to play it.
Oh, I mean, I can't.
Well, here we go. We're getting demonetized.
Well,
Wah, wah,
well,
wah.
make noise over top of it.
You
Rah, 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 rah.
Fart noise.
No.
I don't actually.
Maybe I didn't make enough
I know this
TikToks.
I actually genuinely don't know this.
I remember when this thing came out.
Okay, yeah. Drop a fart noise right now so it doesn't hit us.
So, take a guess when that song
All right,
came
good.
out.
We did not get demonetized.
Take a
we had
guess
this right.
when that
No,
song
legit. That
dropped.
was like 2016, right? 2017.
Wrong.
Get out of here.
Guess, Devin? You can't look it up, though.
I didn't look it up. I don't know. I feel like that was
Before you were
24.
born. How about you?
No way.
Get out of
Before I was
here.
born? No, that's
No,
not,
not
possible.
you.
Not me.
Before
No.
I was born? No way.
Wait, all right. So I don't even know this artist.
I remember
Okay.
that
You
song
can be
from
the something. You can be
Yes.
the whatever. Yeah.
2010.
Okay.
all right.
2010, and TikTok
Oh.
shot it to the
You
top of the
15?
charts. It
Before I
hit
was
number
born.
one.
Are you 15?
Okay, so my favorite case study for that.
Like recently, last 2 years.
yeah,
I remember that song in at least
absolutely.
you said 2016. It was like
I thought it was like
I remember
2016.
in like 2014, 2016 era also.
So like Maps by the Yeah Yeahs, which like I'm an indie
Oh, yeah.
fanatic, so like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
only listen to Sirius XM and like Alt Nation and the Blues channel. So literally that song Maps came out in like 2017, I feel like 2016, and now it's on all these channels, and they're like, oh, they don't love you like I love you, and I'm like, bitch, you don't love them like I love them. I mean, you're already like fouling out because but it's cool because I love that band, and now they're getting a bunch of plays,
So-
and it can happen anytime.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Well, that
was
happened
my
in Stranger-
point,
Stranger
is-
Things.
Is strange same thing
Yeah.
with Stranger
yeah.
Things.
Oh my
I guess
God.
that's a
With
better
Metallica.
that's
Right, yeah.
Not
Yes.
even Metallica.
I love how
Metallica.
you're trolling when you
metal.
said that.
No, I'm a metal guy. Yeah.
Running up that hill.
yeah.
Bro, that is so cool.
So
of a story.
TikTok is a legitimate force for people
Yeah.
to discover music and then not just discover it, but launch it back into
Wait.
the ether.
Wait.
Oh, yeah, the ether.
In the ether.
Are you trying to say TikTok is good for the U.S.?
Yeah. No. All right. I get
TikTok isn't good for the US. TikTok is good for
people.
us.
It's humans. All right. Yeah, but like, all right. So the TikTok thing, I don't use TikTok. I never have. But it's so funny because as soon as they were like, you can't use it anymore, I'm like, well, now I want to use it.
I want it.
You know, as a good libertarian, I rebel against everything. So I'm like, oh, now I can't use it? Like, I'm sorry, infringement alert. But to be fair, a lot of my musician friends, they use TikTok a lot. And I will say, like, I'm into Instagram and Reels just because I just don't want to branch out because my ADHD can't stand all the different platforms. It's not even like, oh, I don't know how to do it on, some okay boomer or whatever insult me. It's just like too much. It's too much like ability to focus on 5 apps. It's so hard
It's
for
too
me.
much, yeah.
I'm good at Facebook. I'm good at Instagrizzle, and I'm okay at X and YouTube, and like I function on Snapchat. Now I just got Snapchat again. I can't like be learning another one again. Like when Vine came out, I was a director of marketing at a film technology company, and I'm like, no. And they're like, you've got to get a Vine account for us. I'm like, no. And then like literally, I felt like 6 months later, Vine went out of style, and I was like, I told you no.
Yep.
And I just got lucky because I just don't want to learn it. But like TikTok,
Say the N word.
What the? What was that?
I don't know what just happened. I blacked out. Yeah.
Jeez. Talk about just getting
Don't worry
demonetized.
about it.
It's
Well, this whole episode's demonetized, so just forget about it. But no,
All right.
I find
But
that
I just really think that TikTok is. Why are you so concerned? Like, here's why I knew it was some bullshit. When all of the left and the right all vote against it, then immediately
something's up.
there's a problem, and you should immediately like support it
Yeah.
because they're all in the same country club. I'm talking about the Senate or whatever. They're all together. Those people they've all been in power since 1389. They all have powdered wigs. They all like play golf together. So if they all support banning something, there must be something about that we should support.
not to get political. I mean, I hate them all. I think they're all trash.
I just think that they're taking away from entrepreneurship and individuality because of like an anti foreign power response, which I understand that aspect. But we could easily create limits, right? Can we not? Create limits on data sharing?
You'd think when I watched them,
Is that
when
not
I
a
watched
thing?
our representatives grill that poor dude that runs Bike Dance, and he had answers for everything, but it just wasn't good. It's a dog and pony show.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this dude's just trying to run a company.
Right. I mean,
and I
people-
get it. Like,
that's their livelihoods,
but, But the thing that stood out the most to me, and I'll leave it at this, and then I'll skip back into my drink. But what he was trying to tell them, because all they were like, but isn't it true that Bike Dance answers to the Republic of China? And he was like, yes, but, and they never want to hear the but. Yes, but so does every Chinese company in the whole world.
Right.
All reports back.
But also a lot of
everybody that makes your
every-
sneakers, everybody that makes your coffee mugs.
American company that works with them. I mean, like there's some trade partnership like throughout the world.
So it's singling out a single because they think it's a big spying ring.
But like, what are you?
it's-
If you're spying on teenagers dancing, that's very weird.
Well-
and that might be like some
It's
Diddy
not
stuff.
It's not so much. I think.
But is that really like what they're so worried?
Well,
about?
no. It's again.
I
It's
guess not.
the app that has access to your phone. Right. That's the thing. Is what they're
But
always.
that is something you could limit.
Well,
Have you guys ever heard of the concept of the Internet Bill of Rights?
Yes.
That's a thing that's been floating around as a concept for, I don't know, a long time now, that people want an established Bill of Rights for interactions on the internet as far as like data privacy and
Yeah, that's-
all these things.
that sounds
But they want it to
okay.
be law so that it can be kind of standardized, you know?
That would be cool. If you
No.
can't see my
net
social,
neutrality. I'm sorry, I'm going back to my drink.
hey, I mean, to be fair,
Net neutrality.
should you see my social when I log onto your app? I mean, not necessarily. I'm okay for privacy, but do we need to regulate everyone's life? No. Let's let people do things. If you do stupid things, that's a bad
You
moment.
get stupid results.
But let's have a little bit of personal accountability. That's okay.
I don't disagree.
well,
So-
I think that's the biggest
But
problem.
let's
with
let
all of
artists
this.
let's let artists and entrepreneurs support themselves. So if we're going to shut down TikTok, then Instagram Reels is going to get lit.
Real lit.
I'm down to get lit on Instagram. If that's how it's got to be, I've been
That's what I was
staying on
trying-
Instagram.
I was trying to tell my homegirl. I was like, listen. I was like, Reels is it's the same fucking thing.
I've been on Reels. So you guys want to come join me in Old Ladyville on Reels? Like, we in.
That's what
We're-
she
we're
said.
down- we're down
she's
for
like,
titties
she's
and
like,
beers.
it's for old people. And I was like,
Not
well,
anymore. It's not.
Yeah, so we're joining the Tiddies and Beer crew.
The Tiddies and Beer conglomerate is all up on Instagram Reels. We're so ready.
God, I need to go.
TBC
I gotta go reserve that
hashtag
web address
That's it. We're gonna hashtag it.
and then get banned.
Yes.
Please get banned.
Do you guys, I feel like I've noticed that Instagram is really good for local pockets, you know, marketing and cross promoting within local pockets, like regionally, whereas like Facebook and X and other things are much more like broad.
Ooh, I disagree. X is like a nightmare for me.
It's,
Hey,
I-
I can't get around it. I
a shit show.
download it, I install it, I delete
I've
it.
gone
It's a shit
on
show.
and off of X like 6 times, and I'm good at what I do. Don't get me wrong. And I have X for my business, like my day job, and we are fire. Like I do great on there. But my personal X, like it's hard. And I've tried like releasing very specific content on there, and like I haven't just like figured it out. But I've done really well on Facebook. I've done really well on Instagram, and I'm getting better at YouTube. But they're all different. Like you really genuinely have to educate yourself on how they all work.
specific.
Yep.
But if you're
Platform
active,
specific.
if you're active on your personal Facebook, and you have a business Facebook and you promote it properly, and you don't annoy people with your content, and you put good content on there, like I use that for like 90% events, and then I cross post certain video content because you do better sometimes
Right.
if you post video content to YouTube and Facebook. Some of the stuff you shouldn't, but it's like hard to know. But Facebook, like if you know how to use it, you can do well. And I feel that way about Instagram. But X is really like hard. It's hard to figure out. Like I really don't know how to use it yet. But I'm not walking around all day tweeting random shit.
Right.
And I think if you are,
You're on it. Yeah. You
like
figured it out,
maybe
right.
if you're tweeting like witty, hilarious things all the time, I don't even have it on my phone. It's on my old lady desktop computer. Yeah. Oh, so
What I find is though is about now when I read news articles that are on things like MSN's page and it's legit articles or a legit
quote unquote legit is always
It looks
good.
like a legitimate article.
journals, whatever. all they're doing is here's this subject, here's this topic. Let's just go ahead and see how the reaction from Twitterverse is. And all they do is posting people's tweets about whatever the story is.
And
so
that's
it's
weird,
like
right?
it's like
they're not really taking a journalistic
right.
Like,
it's like
approach.
you're just again scrubbing from the internet.
It's basically
others.
cross-posting.
Right, you're being lazy about your journalism, about writing, things. So
No, what it is a manipulation tactic because they're editorializing. They're picking people's tweets that
Right.
agree with the take of the writer,
Exactly.
and they're trying to push that so that people see other
Yeah.
people sharing that opinion. So it's like, oh, I should think that way too.
Right, and it's got high engagement already. So the algorithm
Right.
response of sharing when you share high engagement stuff,
Right.
right? Devin, that's like the whole concept. Like you share high algorithm like ranking material, like you think you're going to ride that wave. Maybe you are, or maybe they bot blast you. Like maybe not.
So we had a conversation recently, and
Fuck all. I'm going back to public radio.
So we went to Brad,
AM, baby. You're going to catch me on the AM.
It's called TNB
5300 H.
TNB AM.
So we've been talking about getting, so Brad did a little experiment with some faceless, faceless video reels,
Oh,
right,
yeah,
on
faceless.
YouTube.
Faceless.
Yeah.
And it was like amazing that he's like the subscribers
It's
you
nonsense.
start.
It's a slideshow with a voiceover and captions about any nonsense story you could think of.
And it legit works.
And hundreds, thousands of views, people subscribing.
Let's do this. I have an idea. I'm going to pitch it to you later.
Okay.
I want to tell all of
off
you,
camera.
but I have an idea first. I don't want to look like a complete clown. So I'm already like 80% clown. Well, I'm like 60% clown.
I have to admit something to you, and also thank you, because like I said, I follow you on social media,
Same.
and so I found myself quoting you
No,
in the real world.
no way.
Yeah. And it was something ridiculous. It
has to be.
it was either my wife or my sister or both that were debating on whether to go and do something. And I looked them dead in the face and I said, I'm down to clown.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
in my brain, I was like, that is a Fox Maple quote.
Subliminal.
And I
So
was like, I just assimilated that into my vocabulary. So thank you.
People don't understand what
Down to
clowning
clown.
really is.
It's
Yeah.
so good.
See, people worry about clowning. They're like, all right, so okay, there's been a couple people in my music sphere. I'm not going to name names because they're great people, but they've like been concerned about my clowning. And actually, my dad, when he was living, he was concerned about my clowning. But I tried to remind everyone, and I still do, that my clowning is a very confined space clowning. I don't like go on a bender and wake up in like a hotel room in Daytona Beach and not know where I've been for 5 days, right? I don't participate in the drug community. Good for you if you do. I'm pro freedom, but I just
Crack was super easy to get. I own it now.
I've heard that. I've absolutely heard that. But for me, all I've ever needed was a couple of girlfriends hopping in the car and a bottle of tequila and some Busch Light. And that's like Clownville, USA weekend. And you still wake up and you're still alive and you theoretically remember everything. So, but to be fair, clowning is going out, having fun with people, engaging with the people that are there, tipping the bartender way too much, being really nice to the staff. Maybe there's some swinging and shaking and titties and beer, but everyone has a nice experience. If you run into the people that are unwell and they are having a bad experience, you just casually exit and you go to the next venue. But it's like
We call
clowning.
those sad clowns.
Those are sad, unwell individuals, and like it's unwell, and I feel bad, But we bring the clown energy in a positive way. It's a good
One
thing.
of
I
those
swear to God.
subtleties that like the normies don't necessarily understand.
Oh my God. That's the next Fox Maple.
I don't know, just
That's the next Fox Maple T-shirt. Just down to clown with a little
down to
red clown nose.
without.
Is that
actually,
Trey?
I got a good one. Down
Yeah,
to
those are
clown with
Trey
a clown
quotes.
nose and a clown nose.
So,
Thoughts and prayers? We're in.
I love
what's
it.
that? What's that song by?
I love it.
Was that song by Disturbed? You down with the clownness?
Oh man.
Oh, we could go on for hours.
Yes. Anyway, so
man.
yeah, so we definitely can. We'll keep chatting here. So we'll save some of the stuff for Patreon. Definitely for tuning in. We'll keep the cameras rolling.
Sorry in
Yeah.
advance for all of you.
Yeah. So I don't know. So all right. So Devin, we never got to you about what was your thought about the song? A long ago.
going back to
Jesus,
that.
we're going all the way back.
Yeah.
Going back to that,
Do you
Devin's
care?
like, damn,
Do you care?
I don't even know if I wrote anything down.
we gotta go back to the song. I gotta listen to it again. No, I'm just kidding. Riff them.
All right.
I'm kind of in the middle ground on that
Okay.
one as well with you guys.
All right,
because,
perfect.
Legit.
it has that
good vibe.
traditional like blues vibe. That's yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I say love in the blues.
There you go. Okay. So cool. So all right, Fox. We're gonna wrap up the show here. What do you got coming up here? Shows mid March, end of March time frame. What do you got?
So we got a really cool show at Double Roads, which we love Double Roads. Double Roads is one of the places that I originally started to encounter blues, 10 years ago. So as a blues adjacent artist, not a blues artist, I'll make it clear. But at Double Roads on Thursday, the 13th of March. And then we're playing the early slot, so we're like 5 to 7:30. And then my very close friends, Leafy Greens, are playing after us. So we're going to have just an all-night party. Me and Fox and Foe's full band. We're going to be hanging out. It'll just be a great time. And then the next one that I can think of, because I'm probably going to miss something, but the Saturday the 29th at Northwood Arts and Music, there's a blues show going on, and we're still kind of putting it together.
Okay.
But I'll be involved in that. It's a primarily blues lineup, and I'll be playing the bluesiest things I have, and that'll be really fun. And then in April, I hit the road a little bit, and we're going to be in Hope Sound Brewing, new venue for us, full band, Fox and Foes, playing there. And then Saturday, the 12th, in DeLand for DeLandapalooza, playing on the main stage with mainly original lineup there. And it might be Fox and Foes, or it might be a different iteration of Fox Maple Band. We'll wait and see how it goes. And then the album coming sometime in May. But we definitely have this new single coming out next week with a video drop very shortly after that.
Okay.
So it'll be cool.
Very
We'll have a
cool.
lyric video and a music video. It's going to be awesome.
Sweet.
Very cool. So, all right there. So, thanks for coming on. Yeah, we'll
Thank you.
We'll hang
Been
out a
awesome.
little bit more here. So, we'll wrap up our part here. There. Thanks for tuning into the podcast here. Check out the B3 Podcast Network on the audio channel, Spotify, Apple. Give us, if you like what we're doing here, go ahead and give us a 5-star rating. Leave us a review. Tell us what you like, don't like, whatever.
Send us
Yeah.
checks for $100,000.
Yeah, right. So check out the Patreon accounts.
Cashiers, if possible.
Yeah.
Cash?
However,
That'll be fine.
whatever you got. Cougarans, Bitcoin, whatever you want to send us.
Shirts with titties and beer written on them already.
That would be great. Yeah.
not come.
Yeah.
Nickels.
I
We'll
think
take
they
it in
should come.
nickels.
Yeah.
You can't do pennies anymore.
No,
That's right, they're gone.
pennies are going to become collector's
I was going to
items.
say, you got to save them up.
That's right. Yeah. You
I've
save
got a
all your
bunch. I'm
pennies.
psyched. I'm so
Save all your
amped for pennies.
So, but yeah, so Jams and Cocktails Wednesday nights. And so what's going on here? Tune in. Don't forget to check out the Ghost on the Aux. Thanks for listening. Subscribe, like, all the other cool stuff.
Happy Mardi Gras, motherfuckers.
Yeah,
Hell
that's
yeah.
right. Yeah. So,
Legit.
all right. So here we go. Let's wrap this up here, brother. All right. Thanks for tuning into
Here,
the
here. Cheers, y'all.
Riffs and Rhythms podcast here. I am Paul Robertson, and this is Faux Kevin McLaughlin.
Brad McBrocklin. Cheers.
Cheers. We got Faux and we got Fox.